Hey, look, if nobody gonna talk about it, I gotta talk about it, man. We gotta talk about the cautionary tale of Mia Khalifa. So I don't know if you guys are aware of who Mia Khalifa is, but Mia Khalifa is one of the most famous adult actresses to ever exist on the planet. And she didn't even do that many films. She did maybe like 4 or 5 films, and she blew up internationally. And she's well known throughout pretty much every man's community and a lot of women's community. And she has been publicly shamed and embarrassed and ridiculed in every way possible. And more than anything, the Mia Khalifa tale is a story of a young girl looking for some type of masculine force, not understanding the repercussion of her actions and the deeds that men do that put women in bad positions and using women like disposable garbage tools or toys. And I think a lot of people can learn from the Mia Khalifa story because it's going downhill pretty quickly, and I really do feel bad for her. I got prayers for her because she was a young girl. She didn't understand. She didn't understand the true repercussions of what she did. Because if she understood this is the life she's gonna have to wear, the scarlet letter of the fucking porn star. And to be honest, it doesn't even look like she was really even equipped or she was really about that life. It's kind of like something she wanted to do for fun, maybe build her self esteem. Because if you listen to some of her interviews, she was talking about like she was flat chested. She grew up in a fucking very conservative environment. Uh, she went and got her boobs done, went to Miami, and she was getting all this attention, and she let the attention go to her head, and it resulted in her doing some flicks, and the flicks end up blowing up a lot more than she probably expected. And she probably liked the attention at first when she was young and bushy eyed and all that stuff, but now she's starting to age into a mature and older woman, and she's starting to understand the repercussions that like she'll probably never find a suitable man who would actually take her in. The only guys that really show attention are guys that are just trying to fuck her or like weird, creepy guys. And I think a lot of women should learn from this. A lot of women should take the Mia Khalifa tale and look at it as something much deeper than just a woman who's just a porn star. Because she, like many other girls, probably grew up with either kind of weird households, maybe overly protected dads, and she was trying to escape and rebel, or maybe she didn't have a masculine figure to kind of guide her, be like, hey, baby, that's not the right way. You don't want to do that. That's going to cause a lot of things that you're not going to want in the future. And we started to see this with a lot of girls. There's a lot of girls that were young and impressionable, and they fell for the OnlyFans economy, which they believe that, like, oh, if I just put my ass and my titties on the interwebs, I'll make some change. I'll make some money, and all my problems will go away, and I'll be able to do what I want to do. I'll be free. I'm sexually liberated, blah, 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 blah. And what you come to find out is the cost. The cost of doing that is basically happiness for the rest of your life. And so those little bit of moments and joy that you get to experience, or a little bit of thrill and excitement, doesn't outweigh the consequences of that said action. And I think that's the tale that we need to start preaching to young women more so, is especially as us as older guys that are the masculine figures of the world that try to hold structure and try to hold ethics and morality at the highest level, because that's how you keep society from fucking imploding. And currently, what we're living through right now is our society imploding within the West slash America, or pretty much just the West all in general. But especially in America, it's like hyper inflated or hyper imploding. And so we need to start teaching young girls you have value. There's value in motherhood. There's value in being a wife. There's value in you running a household and having a good man that loves you, treats you right, and tries to do well by you. And that you working with a partner and growing together and building far outweighs any of the popularity that you might get from the Instagram, from the male attention of like just the orbiters and the booty smoothie niggas in the human dildo community. And that you have value. Don't ruin yourself. You got value. You don't need to go tattoo yourself all the way up. You don't need to have all these films. You don't have to dress super sexy. You can dress conservatively. There is beauty in conservatism and moderation. A woman who dresses very moderately and doesn't show off everything she got to the world is so attracted to a man who's marriage minded and cares about his lineage and the dynasty and what he wants to build. Because eventually your kids are going to grow up and have to see that shit. And now we're starting to see a lot of these porn stars are having kids, and a lot of these OnlyFans girls are having kids. And once again, these women don't understand, because once again, there's no man to stop it and say like, "Hey, baby, no, put your clothes on. Like, let's go to church." Or let's go do something productive. Let's go learn to make yourself to a better woman instead of just saying, oh, well, I'm going to take advantage. It's not my problem. Somebody else, so her dad should have protected her. And that's not the way that a man is supposed to go, man. A man is supposed to protect his community from the wrongdoings of other men. He's supposed to establish law and order so you don't end up with a Mia Khalifa situation where now everywhere she goes, she wears a scarlet letter. Everywhere she goes, she got ridiculed at an airport by a Jewish mom. And like a lot of stuff that Mia Khalifa was talking about, like the Palestine and Israel, like, man, if we keep it a full stack, none of us really give a fuck. Like I don't care about the Israel and the Palestine thing because they've been fighting for 1,000 years. How the fuck do you fight for 1,000 years? Somebody fucking end the war. Somebody win. Listen. As far as I'm concerned, when it comes to war, somebody got to win. Why is this shit going on forever? It don't make no sense. It's kind of gay in my way. Like you sitting around fighting with niggas all day when you can have peace and making families and having a good time, drinking, smoking hookah and eating well. Like why the fuck are you bombing fucking hospitals and shit? What sense does that fucking make? But that's a separate topic for another day. But like a lot of the stuff that you see Mia Khalifa is basically a cry for help. Like please somebody like help me. I'm fucking spiraling. I don't have anybody to go to. I don't have any girlfriends that want to fucking be associated with me because I'm the fucking scarlet letter girl. And if they get associated with me, then they're considered hoes. And no guys want to be with them. So they're like, oh, I'll stay away from her. And then no man worth his salt wants to be seen with her in public. No man worth his, what he stands for wants to be known as the guy who wipes up Mia Khalifa. He doesn't deal with that ridicule. And so she's basically stuck in a hard place. And what a lot of girls do is when they get stuck in this particular like spot, when they start to get to a little bit older and they're not as cute or hot as they once were when they were young girls, what they begin to do is they lash out and they say wild outlandish shit to try to get attention because no longer the sexual attention no longer is coming in the same way it normally does because like biology has a fucking finite time. Like you're only going to be so young, perky, and hot for so long. Eventually things start to sag, things start to fall off. You lose your teeth, you get some wrinkles and all that other stuff, and then you get to the point where just nobody even wants you, where no man is really desiring you. And that's a larger societal issue that we're going to start seeing is like a lot of women that basically were doing reckless things in the street, got a bad reputation. They are going to start lashing out and doing cries for help, but in very strange ways because most of the time humans don't know how to ask for help properly. A lot of times humans, they just kind of, they do explosive acts of chaos, and it's like their way of like unleashing their pain upon the world, like kind of like a school shooter or a mass shooter. It's like instead of them asking for help, they were too proud or too prideful and nobody cared. And so they said, you know what, since I feel all this pain, everybody else is going to feel my pain. And they go out and they do some heinous act to show that society didn't give a fuck about me, so I don't give a fuck about society. And that's what we're going to start looking at towards in the future with the Mia Khalifa types, which is like the woman who went into OnlyFans, were sold a false dream that you will become a star, you'll make money, you'll get all these millions of dollars for showing your titties and your butthole on the interwebs. And that's not necessarily the case. It's kind of like professional athletes. Like, yeah, there's a lot of people put a lot of effort into playing basketball and trying to play, but not everybody makes it. Not everybody gets to the top of the field. And that's the same thing with this OnlyFans thing. Not everybody gets to the top. Not everybody makes the fucking $100,000 a month. And even if you're making $100,000 a month, are you financially literate enough to maintain that type of wealth and be able to exploit it into other avenues of wealth? Chances are no, because that's why you're doing sexual activities. So a lot of these girls get stuck in this fucking ridiculous hard place. And it's not even just OnlyFans. We're talking about like maybe like girls that become strippers, girls that become like bartenders, work nightlife, even women that work in the corporate environment. They trade their youth and their beauty to basically work non-productive jobs that carry no long-term benefit. As like when you look at the cost benefit analysis, is not as great as it would be if you would have just partnered up with a guy, built with him, have him protect you, take care of you, get your money right, have a retirement set for you, so you're good for the rest of your life. So you have family and everything else and loved ones to grow, and so you can go and look at life through a happier lens, through the lens of the light. But we got a lot of girls that are in the darkness because there's not enough men portraying the light, not enough men acting as beacons of hope for freedom to escape that realm. So yeah, man, I apologize. Not apologize, but I feel bad for Mia Khalifa. A lot of guys will thrash on her, throw shit on her, and pile on. But I got sympathy. I don't kick somebody when they're down. Like when I see somebody crying out for help, I want to help. I want to see how I can do better. But sadly, a lot of times it might be too late for that particular person. But what we can do is use that as a cautionary tale to help the future generation from making the same mistake. And that's what I hope that we can take from the tale of Mia Khalifa.